An otherworldly entity is trying to take away a little boy from his parents. Can the psychics stop the murderous ghost? And what terrifying truth about the family will it reveal? You're watching Psychic Investigations, a channel of true and impressive stories. People who call themselves clairvoyants investigate resonant criminal cases and unravel tangled, mystical anomalies. Oleksándr and Hánna Sosonénko, parents of a 2-year-old Ukrainian boy named Bohdán, asked the psychics for help.
Bohdán, show how you can swing.
His mother won't let Bohdán go far away from her, as she's certain the boy is in grave danger.
I'm so terrified. I can't imagine my life without him.
I worry about him a lot. He's our only child.
The boy's parents are convinced that an entity from another world is trying to take away their son.
I had a dream in which Bohdán was being chalked. When I woke up, I saw a cat sitting on his chest.
The family has no pets, however. Hánna doesn't understand how the cat could sneak into their house at night, as all the doors and windows were shut. Besides, the cat disappeared just as mysteriously as it had appeared. And after that dream,
We were in the car, and on the turn to our house, a red car drove out in front of us suddenly.
the red car almost hit the car in which the family was. The boy was sitting on his mother's lap. The only thing that saved them from the collision was that the father turned the steering wheel timely.
It swerved wildly, but I stopped it. My heart was racing.
And 2 days later, little Bohdán was close to death again.
I have this large mirror, and Bohdán was running not far from it, and it fell.
At the last moment, Hannah's uncle caught the mirror and saved the boy from death.
It could hit him on the head. And it's heavy. It's really heavy.
Panicked, the parents took all the mirrors and pictures off the walls and made sure all the ceiling lights were fixed firmly in place. But it didn't help. A few days after that, some kind of unknown force hurled Bohdán against the wall.
He was not more than 3 meters from us. There was nobody around him, but he suddenly swirled. When he rose his head, it was all bloodied.
Almost every day, the boy finds himself faced with situations between life and death. His family is certain it's not a mere coincidence.
There have been too many of these mysterious situations, too many coincidences for one kid.
When Hannah learned that the famous gypsy clairvoyant Rubina Cybulska was nearby, conducting an investigation, she hurried to see her and ask her for help.
Hello. I really need your help. I have a little son, and I think he's in terrible danger.
What's his name?
Bohdán.
I see hands holding a little doll. And someone winds a black thread around the doll's throat, chalking it. It really looks like a ritual. To put a death spell on somebody.
He almost suffocated right before he was born. We arrived at the hospital, and everything was all right. And then suddenly his heart rate decreased, and he began suffocating.
To save the boy, the doctors performed an urgent C-section on Hannah.
The situation was very, very serious, and I required assistance.
Azerbaijani psychic Kayal Alekperov agreed to help Rubina Cybulska.
My book says we will find the answer under the white birds.
Where is this place?
The father must know it. There's a secret connected with him.
Does it mean the boy's father is to blame?
When I look at Oleksandr's photo, my jinns tell me Qabil and Habil. There's a story of fratricide in the Quran.
There's a story of Cain and Abel in the Old Testament. In it, one brother killed another.
We must ask Oleksándr if he has a brother.
I saw a man in the dream I had last night. He was all bow-backed and broken all over. He was sitting making a coffin. And there were 2 more closed coffins standing upright behind him. He told me, "Don't interfere."
Hello. Thank you for coming.
Hello, Hannah.
I'm Oleksándr, Hánna's husband. We worry about our son Bohdán.
Tell me, do you have a brother?
I don't. I only have 2 sisters.
It's weird. Wait, where's the boy?
He's inside.
Kyle, what's wrong?
The board fell.
The board could have cracked his head open.
He uses it for drawing.
There was a dead man's spirit in the room next to the boy. He pushed the heavy board down. The man's spirit is about my height. And he was reaching out to Bohdán as if he wanted to asphyxiate him.
Bohdán, look in the mirror. Do you see yourself?
Yes.
I see a boy's figure, and I need to see who this child is. I need to summon his spirit.
It was highly dangerous to carry out any rituals while the child was around.
Go to Grandpa.
Show yourself. He's about 6 or 7. He's fair-haired and plump. Who are you? He can't speak. He's got a scar. He's showing it to me.
Danya.
Our elder son.
Our elder son, Danya.
What happened to him? Where's the scar from?
He flipped over a cup of hot water and burned his skin badly.
After that, he had a skin transplantation procedure. It all healed up, but the scar remained. It was over here.
He's gone, right? When did it happen?
3 years ago.
The boy's spirit is pointing at the house. Let's go over there. Quick.
My God. What happened here?
I hear a child's voice shouting out, "Mom, Mom!" The child is calling for help desperately. The sound is coming from here. The child is shouting here. It's a little boy. He's crying, and there's fear and panic in his eyes.
My God, what happened?
The smell of burning. Some cloth is burning.
There was a fire in our house, and he chalked.
Dear God, here at the door, I see another child's body. It's another little boy.
Our younger son. The elder and the younger, 7 and 3, Yehur and Danya.
What a nightmare! The 2 children died in a fire in this house 3 years ago.
I see a picture. The boys were alone in the house. You go outside, holding some things in your hands.
I was carrying bags. Yes, I was taking laundry to my mother-in-law's.
Hannah carried clothes to her mother-in-law's house, which is nearby, to do laundry. After she loaded the clothes into the washing machine, she went back home immediately.
And I see you, Oleksándr, with a bundle of firewood in your arms. You also left the house.
It was January. We'd sown the seeds and needed to heat the greenhouse. And I was only away for 5 minutes at most.
Nobody could even imagine that in some 15 or 20 minutes, the house would be filled with smoke.
The firefighters had checked the wiring after that. It was in good condition.
Something made of cloth caught fire.
Toys.
According to the firefighters, the source of the fire was the toy box, which started burning.
The children were still alive when you came, but it was too late to save them.
We ran into the house, but there was a lot of smoke and we couldn't see anything. We found the kids and took them out.
We started reviving Danya and called an ambulance. They didn't admit me to the ambulance. We drove to the hospital after the ambulance, but when we got there, we were told they were dead.
My God. My God, this is so terrible. 2 children.
I see the boys can't get out of the house because somebody's hands locked the door like a trap.
The father was in the yard, so he didn't lock the door. But after the fire started, it turned out that the door was locked.
I tried to open the door, but it wouldn't go.
The 3 of us tried to break it down, and we barely did it.
I see a boy run up here. He tries to open the door, but he can't reach the handle, and something falls on him from the hanger.
Danya, the elder of the 2 brothers, was found in the bedroom. He chocked, sitting in front of the TV, but it took everybody a long time to find the younger boy, Yehor.
Yehor was lying in the extension building. We didn't see him at once and stepped over him. He was covered with a coat. It had been on the hanger. He pulled it down. And he covered with it.
The same spirit that is hunting little Bohdán took your 2 other sons.
What is this?
There are pieces of broken slate lying in front of the house. What is going on?
This is the spirit of this dead man.
But why did the man's spirit take this family's 2 sons and is hunting the other one?
You're not the only one in your family who has lost children.
My elder sister lost her first child, and so did my second sister. Her baby didn't live more than 3 days.
It looks very much like an ancestral curse. We must work at the site of your family home.
The house of Oleksandr's parents is nearby. Oleksandr's father, Vasil, invites the psychics to the yard.
My jinns are telling me to find something that is buried here. The thing brings death. The book is telling me to go that way. A woman is burying something here.
Bring him a shovel, quick.
There's nothing down here. What could be buried here? I dug everywhere.
Here, look.
Come look.
And the black thread?
Well, you look at that and...
Just what you mentioned this morning.
And one of them winds a black thread around the doll's throat and...
This is a charm to bring death to children. The magic is still active.
A woman did it. I see a man. The man had an affair with the woman and left her when she was pregnant. She was in a great pain. And she had an abortion.
My jinns say the charm was made because of a man named Vasil. Is it you?
When I checked the cards, they showed me that the man who was the primary target of the charm had left the house long ago. But how is this possible?
The name of the first owner of the house was also Vasil.
Did he leave?
Yes.
Does it mean the charm targeted the previous owner of the house? And now, Oleksandr's family is suffering from it.
Every child born in this house is destined to die. Did your sisters live in this house when they were pregnant?
Yes.
Did you live here when Hannah was pregnant with your other 2 children or Bohdán?
No. We used to live next door.
The charm we found was indeed aimed at children. This is why Oleksandr's sisters lost their children who were born in that house. But Hannah never lived in his parents' house, so the charm couldn't have affected her. Something else is threatening Bohdán. But first, we must get rid of this. We have to burn it and sprinkle the site with holy water. At that moment, I looked at the wall of the neighboring house and saw a picture of white birds. The birds are the clue my book gave me before the investigation. Below the birds, I see two spirits. One of them is a child, a little boy, and he can't talk. I saw him near your house earlier today.
He's got a scar.
But the spirit of the boy I see is not your deceased son. This is another boy, but he also has a scar on his throat. A dead man's spirit that I saw this morning is standing next to him. He was the one who dropped the board on Bohdán. Oleksándr, this man says he curses you.
He says, "You killed my son."
Yes.
Did you kill the boy on this place?
Yes.
Oh my God.
My jinns say the child killed the child.
I was 8 then.
How old was he?
6 or 7.
What was his name?
Yaroslav,
What happened?
the rifle shot. The bullet pierced his carotid artery. He died on the way to the hospital. I dropped the rifle and ran away.
He beckoned Yaroslav to him, took the aim, and shot. The shot ripped his head off. There was so much blood. It was terrible.
It's been 20 years since it happened, but Oleksándr still feels fear when he recalls that day. In the morning, his uncle arrived to visit them and left his armed rifle in the yard. Nobody remembers why the man took the rifle with him. He was probably going to go hunting.
He left the rifle unattended, and so it happened.
Little Oleksándr thought it was a toy and went to boast about it to Yaroslav, their neighbor's son. What happened then was the bang and shock.
The boy says he's your brother in front of God, and you killed him.
My parents were godfathers.
Wait, did your parents baptize the boy you killed?
Yes.
And his family lived next door, right?
Yes.
And then it dawned on me. This was what my book meant when it told me about fratricide. They were brothers in front of God. I feel that the boy's family hates you, and they're always cursing you.
Yes.
The neighbors were devastated by the death of Yaroslav. The boy's mother never recovered after the tragedy.
She lost her mind to drinking.
Whenever she sees me, she starts cursing me and calling me with different bad words.
She even threw stones at him.
It was an accident. It wasn't your fault.
How can I prove it? It was a murder.
The cards told me that the boy's spirit wasn't mad at Oleksándr for what he'd done, and he understood it had been an accident. Oleksándr was just a kid, and it was the responsibility of the adults, who left the rifle unattended.
Oleksándr's uncle was sentenced to 2 years in prison for negligence with the weapon. But ever since, Oleksándr has always been a murderous child in everyone else's eyes.
The spirit that is hunting your son is telling me he's the dead boy's father.
It turned out that several years after Yaroslav's death, his father, Yuri, fell from the rooftop of a residential high-rise. However, nobody knows to date whether it was an accident or suicide.
The boy's father hated you all his life, and he still hates you after his death. Your children's deaths were his revenge from the other world.
So this is who the broken man from my morning vision was. It was Yuri, the murdered boy's father. He was sitting, making a coffin. We must carry out a ritual on the site where it happened. So you can finally apologize. However, there was, of course, no guarantee that the spirit would accept his apology. Yuri's spirit, come to us. Oleksándr, he's standing in front of you.
Uncle Yuri, please forgive me. I didn't know what to do. I was even thinking of hanging myself. Forgive me, please.
Yaroslav, come to us too.
Yaroslav, I am so sorry. I didn't mean to do it. Forgive me, please. Uncle Yuri, don't touch Bohdán. He's my last hope.
The fire began extinguishing by itself. The spirit accepted the apology. They're gone now.
From now on, they'll rest in peace, and they won't pose any danger to your family.
Thank you so much for helping us save Bohdán.
Thank you.
None of us can change our past, but we can change our future. Sometimes, to do it, you must repent of what you did and apologize to those you hurt. If you're impressed by the story, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel to never miss new investigations by the psychics.